when you look at, I don't know if Imperial Logistics as well at some point, and then there was Goldfields under Imperial, all these trucking companies, you have to ask the question, why would the government not invest in trains? Why don't we just have state-owned trains that move this shit so it's cheap and it's easy and it's reliable? You don't have to pay
we
people.
do, but the system is...
No, they destroy the stuff.
Yeah,
Because
it's fucked, yeah.
the Afrikaners were trying to build a country, in my opinion, outside of apartheid, which was horrible. I think they were trying to build a country and an economy like a Russia and a China where they control.
Precisely.
We'll pull out the coal and the oil, we'll refine it. We'll set up Sasol so that we have our own refinery. We'll create our own nuclear energy like Koeberg in the Western Cape. We'll have our own nuclear weapons, which they started making. When the NC government came in, they dismantled them.
Because they were told to.
We'll industrialize our Transnet. We'll have cheap energy through Eskom. We'll manufacture our own weapons through Arms Corps, about Denel. We'll have ISCO and refine and beneficiate our own steel. We will be able to stand on our own. And that became a problem. Now, with the ANC coming in, you also can't have a black government having that much power. Dismantle, and after dismantling, privatize. So part of the privatization is fuck the trains,
But
bring trucks.
on your point of having the black government, it's like those Afrikaners that did that under apartheid, they were experts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I know somebody personally, a German old man, he's now in his late 80s. He was pro-chair at the point at which they started industrializing mining, sometime in the 50s.
Yeah.
Post-war Germany, they had no graph. They were like, please, we need engineers. They came here and they built things like high-pressure valve systems so that we could go deeper underground and get more gold and get more whatever, you know. But he came part here as a contingent of Germans to come and teach the Afrikaners, who then learned, and then kind of like, not to say when their time was up, he stayed, but he stayed as the CEO of his own company.
Yeah.
But in terms of, you come here, you work for the government for 5 years, let's say. When the 5 years is up, thank you so much, cheers. You can stay and you can have your own business and your own company and, you know, free and fair. But we don't need you now to work in the state-owned one, because you've been here for long enough and you've trained enough of our people so we can take over and do it ourselves. So the skills that they didn't have, they brought in, they learned them, and then they mastered them.
Yeah.
And as you say, they were building, it's almost like they were building an independent state that didn't rely on the West, which you've hit the nail on the head, is that all of those things all of these deals that are now coming our way for renewable, we don't need that.
We don't.
We have plenty of coal. We've got like 500 years of coal. It's our coal, meaning it will be at the lowest possible cost. And we've got coal-fired power stations. We should be building more.
Sure.
Like China, they build 100 a week or something. You know, Trump made that example. It's like they're building 100 coal-fired power stations. This is what they're doing. While we fuck around talking about, renewables, whatever, they are killing us from a productivity perspective because they just don't care. They're doing what's best for China.
Sure.
Fuck the rest.
Sure.
So yes, but carry on. The privatization part now.
So outside of privatizing the logistics, my thinking is you also want to privatize every other key component of a functional economy so that you can control it in any way. And it becomes an Achilles heel. Because if America owns our energy, they can switch off the power if we ever misbehave.
Sure.
If America owns our logistics infrastructure, whether it's trucks, whether it's buses, whether it's trains, they can shut us down with whatever it is. So I think with renewables as a story of we need to decarbonize, it was the whole thing of we can't have a Jacob Zuma and Umkhonto weSizwe or Julius Malema and the EFF having that type of access to Eskom, which powers maybe 40% of Africa. So let's break this shit up so that if ever the EFF come into power, if ever Umkhonto weSizwe comes into power, or an Ibrahim Traore type character, we will have so many independent power producers that we can switch off power, we can control the price. And if we control the price, it doesn't
for
matter.
them to consolidate.
They won't be able to do fuck all because it will be like, but guys, if McDonald's shuts down or KFC shuts down, if we can't get Nikes, if we can't, we'll suffer. If China, we can't import from China, what will we wear? Because you've privatized so much and you've destroyed state-owned entities so much, you rely on them and then they control the price. So we are meant to be having cheap coal. And because our big mines are foreign-owned, sadly, they get to control the price of coal, which goes to Eskom. If you do the same with independent power producers, you get to control the power of energy. So if ever they give us the mines, you guys can have your mines and your land, but we still need power. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll supply the power to you. at this cost. They still chow from us and we
But
make
they'll
nothing.
also say to you, they'll say you can have the mine, but who's your off taker? You see, you can mine all the coal you want if nobody's buying it.
Because we might
Yeah.
need it. We might.
There was an
maybe need it
example
in
made
Germany.
by a billionaire some years ago with I think it was Richard Branson in his open letter. But even if it wasn't, the point he was making is that if you want to come in and take the wine farms, take the fucking wine farms. Who's going to buy the wine? Because the person that we supply in France with this wine and this stuff that we produce here is our guy. And we'll just tell him, don't buy from that booze.
Sure.
So you can have the wine. But if no one is buying the end product,
fucked.
you think that my business that makes 200 million can become your business that makes 200 million. No.
Yeah.
You can take the business, but we will take the customers with us. And in the same way, like you're saying with the renewables example, it shifts that control to these smaller outfits.
Yeah.
But it makes it look like, hey, we're making it open for everyone. Anybody can be
yes.
an IPP. Go and be an IPP. You know what I mean?